Hi, I'm Joel Bond, and I wear a hat every day in my videos because it's 2 months of lockdown here in Greece without a haircut. The beard is definitely evidence of how shaggy it's getting. I'm going to talk about mountains today. Wherever you are in the world, you're probably familiar with that bell curve graph on this coronavirus pandemic and how it just has seemed to be going up and up and up and up. And in some places now, it seems like we've reached the peak and we're just coming over the edge and starting that downhill slope. And that's evidenced by a lot of places starting to open up. Greece has got a little bit more freedom of movement. They've scheduled a finish, really, to the lockdown in the next 2 weeks or so. My home in Iraqi Kurdistan, businesses are opening up, traffic is moving internally. Not open to the outside world yet, but things are definitely moving in a positive direction for a lot of people. What I want to talk about today, though, is that downhill slope. Yesterday I had a chance to climb Mount Kirkis, the highest mountain here on Samos Island, about 1,400 meters and change. It's a several hour uphill walk, definitely strenuous and taxing, but it was the downhill that really got us into trouble. My right knee in particular, not happy with the downhill section, really started to get tender and painful and swollen, and I had to ask the group leader who was taking us on the mountain for some mountain poles to steady and stabilize myself so that I wouldn't injure it further. Which reminds me of another time I climbed a mountain, very similar to the one here. About 10 years ago, I was driving around North Wales with my friend Charles Taylor. Shout out to Charles if you're watching this. He'd come over to the UK to visit, and he looks over and sees this Mount Snowdon, which is the highest peak in Wales, and he says, "Dude, can we climb that thing?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure. I mean, people do it all the time." He's like, "No, can we climb that thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, you know, it's not the right season, didn't bring other shoes." He's like, "No, dude, I really want to do this." I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right." I'd been up several times before. I knew the route. Wasn't particularly challenging, and I said, "Okay. But be warned, it's several hours uphill. It's going to be a tough hike." So, you know, he agreed, and we did it. We started up this hill and mountain, and about 20 minutes in, he is breathless. I mean, he's just struggling. Guy lived in New York City, had never been above sea level, and now he's just, 20 minutes into a 5-hour hike, and he's really breathless. I say, "Hey, we can turn around if you want to." He's like, "No, man, we're going to get over this thing together." I was like, "All right, let's do it." So we encouraged each other and chatted and laughed as we made our way up to the summit. Breathless by the time we got there, but it was a good walk. Turned around on the way back down. 20 minutes into that descent is where I hit that trouble. And my right knee just exploded in pain. It was terrible. Couldn't take more than 2 steps at a time before having to sit down and rest for 20 minutes before I could take another 2 steps. We were a snail's pace coming down off the top of this mountain. And I said, "Charles, I can't do this. I can't go anymore. Like, I literally can't walk." And he said, "Well, we got to get down to the mountain." And we said, "We're going to do it together. So climb on." I said, "No, dude, I can't keep climbing." He's like, "No, I mean, climb on my back." I was like, "You got to be kidding me." He's like, "No, I'll carry you down." And true to his word, Charles stood there in the middle of the path, had me climb on his shoulders, and practically carried me off the mountain. It was an incredible experience, a story that both of us have told to our friend groups for several years now. And I've always kind of wondered, apart from being a beautiful story of friendship, of seeing how that's really connected, I've always wondered what the lesson was. And I think I found it today. Is that the downhill is often more difficult than the uphill. And we often need more help coming down than going up. Wherever we are in our coronavirus curve, we feel like there's a lot of freedom and a lot of momentum and things are opening up and it's going to be great. But it's still a ways off. We're not at the bottom yet. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's still painful. And sometimes we still need to look out for each other. It's okay if we need help, even on the downhill. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing or where your country is on this bell curve for coronavirus, if you're still going up, keep at it. You'll get there soon. But if we're on the downhill, let's remember, sometimes we might need to still carry each other. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.